What it is. Vader Games in the building. Another episode of Why Always Me, episode 34. 34, and it's a special episode. This is episode 34 that involves the panel, right? Why Always Me has a panel tonight, and it's a special panel. I'm so happy and proud to actually present the panel members tonight. And if you're watching me on Twitch, thank you so much. Thanks for the support. Subscribers, thank you. Every subscription goes a long way into supporting this channel. And if you happen to be watching on YouTube, please subscribe, like, share it in your group chats, spread the word. I'm always looking to interact with football-minded people, and that's how the word gets out when you share it. So first things first, my peoples come first. And my peoples are Manchester City fans as well as rivals and neutrals. Thank you for tuning in. Hit that follow button and get ready. Get ready for a great show. The panel members that I talked about, okay, the two panel members that I talked about, and one just dropped off. Maybe it was due to internet. But Mackenzie is a diehard Liverpool fan. And if you could tell from the thumbnail, this panel was going to involve a Manchester United fan and a Liverpool fan. Mackenzie is a Liverpool fan, and I'm so glad to be able to have him on the show. I'm looking forward to having him on the show for future panel shows. Mackenzie and I go way back, like some of the previous panel members on previous shows. We go back to the IEGA, fantastic esports league, football-based, playing FIFA, dating as far back as FIFA 16, I believe. FIFA 17 we've been playing. This guy's a fierce competitor, repping Liverpool very well, and I'm so thankful for having him on the show. Mackenzie, you're muted, but how you doing, my friend?
I'm good, my man. I'm good. Can't complain. How you been?
I've been all right. It's been a minute.
It's been a
It's been a
minute, man.
minute. I know you copped that PS5 mad early, so we haven't been gaming for a while.
Yes,
Uh,
sir.
but it's good to hear that you're well. Hope your little one's doing well as well.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Nice. And viewers, listeners, you've heard the voice before. He's been on the show before. And if you know me from the gaming world, you know that I've gamed with him as well. IEGA. I've told you before, he's never short on trash talking. He's always got the words ready just to give you those jabs. But we've got him on the show for another night. Ty Ribs, Man United fan. How you doing, my guy?
I'm doing all right. I'm still a Man U fan, so not great, but as well as to be expected.
Right now, I know. Right now, it's tough, but great to have you on the show and look forward to talking to you about all the topics tonight. So, where do we start? Where do we start? You know what? You know how we're going to start? We're going to start with a proper intro. All right? Let's run the intro. Viewers, I encourage all of you, 2026, the World Cup is coming over here to North America. Start saving now. That imagery that you saw, you'll get a chance to see the beautiful city of Toronto. Toronto will be hosting games as well as Vancouver, as well as several other games on the East Coast in the States as well. Save up, come out here. Maybe we can link up. Vader Games TV, as well as other content creators linking up for the World Cup would be amazing. We got to talk about the transfer window. You know what? I'm not going to waste any time. If viewers, you've seen by the title, we're going to be dealing with the transfer window. And as the title reads, it's a panel show talking about, as I see it, Manchester City refresh, right? Manchester City is refreshing its squad, its team. And correct me if I'm wrong, and we have a Liverpool fan to maybe correct me or bring his own perspective, but I think they're in a phase two. They've had Klopp, they've extended his contract. He's here till 2026, so another 4 years. and I think they're doing a phase two, right? I think they're doing a phase two under Klopp, and the rest of the league, as it stands right now, as we're looking at things, we're going to discuss how the EPL has a top four challenge that's I think consisting of more teams than it typically did in the past. There's more of a cluster of EPL teams that are going to be battling for that top four, so it's going to be an interesting conversation. But I'm going to throw this to you, Mackenzie. Before this transfer window even started, and you looked at what Liverpool were able to do last year, right? All the competitions that it competed in, the strength of the team, the unavoidable talk about the quad. When you look at last season and this season, what did you think you needed to strengthen to actually make those goals you had last year possible?
Well, honestly, I just think the midfield wasn't good enough. Like,
Midfield.
if you look at Man City midfield, it's like one of the best in the world. Like Liverpool with especially with Thiago and Henderson. Henderson can't really do that, like track back going for that box to box like he used to. Like when when Liverpool was its peak, the midfield was is the engine. But still now, I think we should go get a midfielder. Like I don't care. We're waiting for Jude. I don't care about that. We need a midfielder right now. Like Nunes is fine. I'm happy with him, but I would rather get a midfielder and not lose money. Obviously, God, we'll see.
Okay, we'll get into that. But so when before the transfer window even started, you having your GM hat on, having your director of football, your scouting hat, you would have said, "I want a midfielder specifically to take take up what Henderson's probably lacking."
Correct.
Is that fair?
Correct.
Okay, okay. Now you've also come to realize, and I give much respect to Mane for not having the conversation during the season.
Yeah, that was big.
You know, and he showed a lot of professionalism. He didn't talk about. Everyone knew that his contract was up, but he didn't have that. He didn't have that front and center like your other winger. But now Mane leaving, was that a I got to fill in that gap? And was that gap kind of like already filled because of Diaz, who did take his spot on that left wing?
I, honestly, I think Diaz is replaced Mane like since January. So when we bought him in, he definitely replaced Mane. And if you look at the Liverpool games, like a lot of the games, like we needed a number nine. Like let's not get it twisted. Like Mane playing down the middle was like filling up a gap, but we
Hmm.
needed a number nine. So I am happy that we have Nunes, but at the same time, we need a midfielder. Like Ox is not good enough. Nabi is flaky. Thiago is not doing a defensive work. He'll dictate the game, but he's not gonna be tracking back. Like we need a guy like Basuma who went to Tottenham. Like we
Hmm.
need a guy like that. Like Genie was that man for us in the midfield. But now like Fabinho gets injured every now and then.
Right,
So
right.
like when he gets hurt, like Liverpool, like I do like the sign. I do like the Carvalho signing though,
Yeah,
because he
that's good
remind me
business.
of my favorite Liverpool player was Coutinho. He remind me of Coutinho, so I do like that one. But we just need like another like midfielder. Like I can work hard in the midfield, put in tackles. Just a little, be a bit of a bully in the midfield because
Okay.
we have too many like like Thiago is more of like a you know techie. Pass it around. Fabinho is the one who the holding mid, but we need that extra, that third guy,
Okay.
that can do a little bit of both. And Henderson cannot do that no more. He's too old.
Yeah, I mean, I think Henderson is probably going to phase and maybe be Fabinho's backup. Like he'll be the backup defensive mid. No.
Yeah,
I crazy?
I hope so. I hope so.
Okay. Um, yeah, you know what? I'm not gonna get too far down the back and forth with regards to Nunez. I know just by default he's a Liverpool player, so he's gonna get hyped up and propped up. Um, but him being a nine, and again, I think it's fair to say Mane at nine was effective, but that's not where you would want him to remain, right?
Correct.
And you also have to look to the future. Hence, the kind of like even the idea that this is like a phase two for Klopp. But Nunez is, I think he's going to pose some very good problems for the opposition, and
Yeah.
If he can
Klopp's
stay
got a
healthy.
history.
What you
Say that
said?
again.
If he can stay healthy.
You
Oh,
think
please don't
Nunez
say
might
that.
have
Oh, please don't.
might have challenge of being healthy?
He's had 2 knee surgeries before the age 22. Like that's kind of sketchy. Not gonna like just being honest. Like
I didn't even know about the two surgeries.
yeah, I didn't know about that until after he signed for Liverpool, and I was like, damn man, you might have actually dodged the bullet.
Because Manu was in the mix for him, right?
Yeah.
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 So
But we're still in talk with De Jong, so obviously we can't handle multiple things. So
so okay, that's fair. That's fair, Mackenzie.
knee
I
surgeries
think
aren't something that's easy to walk away from.
no, they're not. But the fact that he has had two, and that he was playing at such a good level last season, obviously, I mean, he raised the eyebrows of many Liverpool players with how well he played in Champions League. So I don't know if it's that risky because again, knee surgeries nowadays versus back in the day is kind of like cleaning some things out, and it's not as
True.
intrusive as they used to be. So um, yeah, I think Nunez is definitely an investment for the future because the player's only 22 years, I believe, 22 years old.
Yeah, he's got a bright
Um,
future.
so let me ask you this, Ty Ribs, because I don't want to I
Mhm.
don't wanna, I don't want to leave you out. When the season ended, and maybe you even had this thought before the season even ended, what positions within Manchester United did you anticipate that I want at least these positions addressed and upgraded?
Center back, CDM, right wing,
Center back, CDM, and right wing. Okay.
and a young striker who has the cherry on top, who just to play backup to Ronaldo.
Okay. Now, you said that, and right now all I'm hearing though with your new manager, and your new manager is going to need time to get his ingredients and cook. But Frankie De Jong, he's not a CDM.
Nope.
So are you already like, this is what I anticipated before our manager even came into the role to do his thing, and we're not even getting the player, or we're not even getting one of the players that I thought we had a miss or a gap in. Do you
So
have, what kind of issues or do you have any issues with that?
I mean, if we had the same coach and we were going to play the same way this year, I would obviously have some concerns about it. But I would have to wait to see how Ten Hag is going to actually play because like not every formation needs or has a CDM. So like if he doesn't have a CDM in that formation, that's fine. Like I would understand why he doesn't want to prioritize a CDM. But I would have to believe that's because he's going to really drill in the mentality of tracking back, marking your man, stay with your man, and really keep up on the defensive responsibilities with the team. So like the CDM spot isn't like make or break for me because like I said, if we just aren't going to need that position anymore, that's one thing. But if we are going to play like one with two center mids, one CDM, then yeah, we're going to be in a tough spot. But if we
Okay.
play a formation with Bruno as Cam, De Jong, and like Van de Beek as two center mids, and like we really focus on the whole center mid like responsibilities and track back and all that stuff, like I think we could get away with it. Like especially if we improve enough defensively. But
Okay. So I'm hearing that there's trust with the manager to see the system that he runs. So even despite you being like, we need a center back, a CDM, and a right wing, The fact that those haven't been speculated or rumored about yet, you're not stressing because hey, let me
Oh no
see.
no no! Just the CDM one, I'm not worried about. Everyone else, I am absolutely livid about. Like I don't know if you heard, but so Manu was targeting a lot of Ajax players like recently. So we want Anthony, who's actually trying to force the move as well. But since Ajax has already sold 3 players, they don't want to sell anyone else, which is pretty reasonable. Which is another
Mhm.
fault of why Manu needed to get business done sooner rather than later. But again, for some reason they can't multitask, and again, so like they sold Garnett, they sold that guy to Bayern Munich, and then they sold I can't think of the name.
What position?
I don't. I can't remember. There's one. They sold to Benfica. I think. Was it?
Oh
No,
yes,
it
yes,
wasn't
yes.
Neres. It was. I remember
It's
he's a
not.
lot
It's
like
not
Neres.
Noons. No,
Who?
no,
Who,
never mind.
Ajax?
Yeah, who have they sold? They've already sold 3 players.
I think. Oh, is it the striker?
I can't remember. I literally. I know they. Oh, They sold Holler,
Oh,
the
Dortmund.
striker, and then they sold someone to Benfica, and I can't remember who. And I think Neres went to Benfica. I just know there was like a weird like this player went there, so Neres went to Benfica type of thing with Ajax. But anyways, they have 3 players out, so obviously they're not trying to do a full rebuild. Which I understand why they don't want to sell to us, but like we really need Anthony and we really need Martinez, especially
Mhm.
with the whole Timbers issue. But like that, I have a lot of other issues with because of what Van Hall said. Like I honestly think that he should be fined or something by the like FIFA is what he that was pretty messed up.
He just
Like
expressed an opinion. That's all he did.
okay, but why is he expressing the same opinion about Ake at Man City, who barely plays?
Oh, that is true.
No,
Yeah, like it's a
What do you
100%
mean
a
barely,
fact.
man? Holy.
what do you mean?
Ake barely plays for City, and yet he's starting every game for Netherlands. Like, please,
Yeah,
like
but
it's clearly he has a vendetta.
let's not compare the playing environment at Manchester City and United.
Okay, but what he's saying is you will if you do not get playing time, I will not select you for the national team. Ake's not getting playing time. Why is he not getting the same threat? Especially right before he makes his decision. That's some sketchy shit.
But here's where I have to push back. Here's where I have to push back. If the players in front of Ake are at a level where it's understandable this guy's not really getting his time, right? To play regularly. And I'll admit, Ake didn't play regularly. Someone's hurt, he's playing, or if it was early rounds of the cup competition, he's playing, right?
Hmm.
But you can see the players ahead of him that aren't allowing him to play.
Okay, but why wasn't Romero benched when he was behind De Gea? De Gea was the best goalkeeper in the world at the time, and yet he still got benched. Romero still got benched because he wasn't starting enough games. So like, yeah, that might be one like good enough excuse. But at the end of the day, that's still a really sketchy thing and
Yeah,
like very
I
unethical for Van Hall to do. Like,
possibly, but the reason why it's quite not apples to apples is because in this day and age, 2022, can't put United and City in the same realm.
okay,
And
but that's the thing. That's the thing. He didn't say Man U. He said if you transfer to a club and you're not getting playing
yes,
time.
we all know that he's implying if you don't get playing time at United with the players at United, then I can't play you on the national team. It's very different than, oh, okay, you're not quite getting playing time at City. I can still justify playing you because look at the quality of players ahead of you at City. But the players ahead of you at United, dude, if you're not getting playing time there, sorry.
I
So
mean, he's not. I mean, I would love to see him as a starter. I would love to see him as a starter, but like at the end of the day, like would he be starting over Varane? Absolutely not. Should he
right.
be starting over Maguire? He should be. I would
Yeah.
love to see him battle it out for a starting start with Lindelof because I would have to see him play a little bit more to
Mhm.
actually see if he should start over Lindelof because I don't have that many issues with Lindelof. I feel like a lot of the like slander Lindelof gets is for Maguire's mistakes, but so like I would, but like so yes, they don't have the depth or competition position wise as City does, but like if they didn't have Varane and it was like they have no one at center backs,
Yeah,
I think your case would be a lot easier to make. But they do have Varane, like that is a really good center
yeah.
back, and it's
You
not
know
like
what I'll
he's a
say?
23, 24-year-old like star
Right.
player. He's still a young player.
Well, you know what I'll say. You know what I'll say is that Van Van Gaal definitely is still hurt. He still has a grudge, right?
Absolutely.
So his past with Manchester United, he hasn't let go. So yeah, I agree with you. He's a little wrong with some of the salt he keeps sprinkling over there, but it's going to be interesting to see how this Manchester United saga goes because right now the way the club's moving, the way Ten Hag is moving, it is forcing Manchester United fans to be patient. Like I know Manchester
Mm,
United are what? You don't
I
think you
don't
don't think
think
it's forcing
I don't
its fans to
I
be
don't think
patient?
it's I don't think it's Ten Hag forcing them.
Oh no, fair enough, fair enough. But he's also the leadership that he's taking. He's obviously not allowing anyone to believe that this isn't against plan, right? He's not saying I want to do more, but the club's not allowing me to. Like
Yet.
he's being a
He's
very
only
good
done he's only
leader,
done
and
one press conference, so we'll see.
yeah,
I personally hope he does throw the Glazers right under the bus.
that's not going to happen. That's not going to
I
happen.
know, but like I mean, look at Conte. Conte did it when he got to Spurs.
Yes, but
I
Conte
again,
to be able to do it, I think had a little more in the bank to be able to do it in terms of leverage. Ten Hag can get there, but he hasn't coached a game in the EPL yet, so we kind of have to wait and see. I want to get back to McKenzie real quick because we can't. We have to talk about the remainder of the league before we continue to talk about Liverpool. But with this transfer window, with last season's drama, and we won't get too far into it, but with last season's drama and the whole Lukaku soap opera,
hmm,
when you heard that he was thinking of going back to Inter, and then when word finally came out that he was going back to Inter, what was your reaction to that?
I couldn't believe it, honestly. Like, you pay almost 100 mil for a guy just to loan him out the next season? That's ridiculous, man. But
The-
at the same time, though, Chelsea, I forgot what transfer season was it. They were moving kind of crazy. Like I think they bought Timo, they bought Kai, Zeke. They were going crazy. So when it's time to get a striker, Lukaku wasn't the right striker for them. I don't even know why they bought Lukaku. But again, clubs like to make that sexy signing, that big signing. Like Man U
yep,
would never sign like man, you've been focusing on Frankie De Jong for like the longest. Like you could
exactly,
have got somebody else to come in. You know what I'm saying? Like Basuma went for
exactly,
25
hundred
mil.
percent,
Come
hundred
on, like
percent.
oh, like, you could have
You
got
want to know why
Basuma
they do
in.
that though, especially Man U, because that's what sells the jerseys.
Oh yeah,
Mm.
yeah. But back to Lukaku, man. It's ridiculous. I can't believe that's like even possible for you to do. Like 198, and you go back next season on a loan. Like it's crazy.
So I do think it's crazy business. I do think it's absolutely crazy business, and I want to quickly shout out Edison's in the building. Are you redoing the show again? Nah, Edison. This is a panel show. I've got Mackenzie on the panel. I've got Ty Ribs, Man U fan, Liverpool fan. Actually, sorry, Mackenzie, Liverpool fan. Ty Ribs, Man U fan. So that's what we're hitting up. No, so even topic wise, I didn't mean to have my topics on screen. I should actually take that down. Good looking out. Good looking out with that. But no, we got a show where we're really just talking about Liverpool, Man U specifically. We'll be talking about City, and I know you're AC Milan fan, so if you want to chime in, you can. We just brought up the point about Lukaku and him going back to Inter, and it does seem like a really weird merry-go-round, right? Like he obviously left United, went to Inter, successful, winning the title there, chest chest up, feeling nice. Obviously, from a financial standpoint, Inter couldn't hold on to him, and so not only did Conte leave, but Lukaku left. Lukaku coming to Chelsea, and I did think that it was weird. I didn't think that it was weird for them to have gotten him because when you look at how Chelsea played, how Tuchel had them playing, and some of the things that they were lacking, you thought, okay, Lukaku's shown that he can be a prolific striker. Tuchel has shown that he is. Many were saying he's a tactical genius, so he should be able to get a good performance out of a striker being added to the team because everyone was like crapping on Werner and Ziyech and who am I forgetting now? Pulisic and um, that's Mason
Well,
Mount. Like they were just talking about players that could probably turn up a notch with a Lukaku, right? So I didn't think it was too weird. But then when the season's going through and Lukaku's not able to cook, he just can't get going. And I'm gonna dismiss the whole interview thing because that's off the pitch. Yeah, it can affect
That interview
loss.
was wild.
The interview was crazy. The interview was crazy. Timing's horrible. But the player's still the player. And I thought that players themselves, I thought the manager was like, you know what, we're putting you on the shelf. We're putting you on the shelf. That interview is why we're putting you on the shelf. We're not really looking to you. The trust isn't there. So they kind of shot themselves in the foot. It wasn't until later in the season that they got him playing again. But Lukaku back to Inter, I just think it's crazy. And from a transfer window, transfer drama, worst transfers of all time, that kind of talk. Also, some of the conversations that I've listened to and happened to hear them trying to compare Lukaku to Grealish in terms of worst flops of the season. It's like, you know what? The decision's been made. It's obviously Lukaku and just how he's gone back to Inter. I think that's evident. Let me put this comment up real quick before I go to you, Ty Ribs. But Edison goes, Chelsea and Man United don't understand that how important the system is and having players fit to the system. So I hear you. I hear you in terms of sometimes they think you can just get the player, big name, big talent, and plop them into the club and they'll find a way to make it work. That's a great point. And Ty Ribs, what do you think of that? Because he actually pointed out, he said Chelsea and Man United don't understand.
I think the lesson should have been more learned by Chelsea than Man U because I mean Lukaku was still an Everton striker at that time. Like there's no, and he was a proven Prem striker. Like there's no reason to think that he won't continue to thrive in the Prem. But when he got that big paycheck, the man's work ethic just went right out the window. And then he
Mm,
goes to. I think that this also says volumes about how the difficulty level of the Serie A is compared to the Prem now because again, that league made Lukaku look like a beast, and it
yeah,
made Man U look awful because they had him play like so bad. But now we realize, nah, the man literally just doesn't care.
true.
Like I feel like it's an effort issue with him, to be honest. Like look at his touch. His touch is awful, and that's such an elementary thing to be bad at. And in the Serie A, he gets away with it more because again, it's not as not competitive. It's very competitive, but like I guess a forgiving.
Right. So,
one thing I want to add real quick.
yeah,
When Lukaku was an Inter, right? When he was like going crazy, he was playing with a second striker with Martinez, right?
yeah,
No, Martinez is a winger.
He's a winger. Well, I think in
They,
the system that
they
he
moved
was,
him. They moved him from wing to striker. It's not like he's a true winger. He could do both.
yeah.
yeah.
Like more
I,
like
I,
a yeah,
I
yeah.
think Chelsea. I mean, if you're buying somebody for that price tag, I think you should, some way somehow play to his strength, and Chelsea would not do that at all. Like
Also, if you
there
you
was
could,
games
I'll add after.
there was games where like he's running, like there's this space for him to run behind. He's asking for the through ball, and
Yeah.
it's not getting. They don't make the pass. Like I'm like, what are you guys doing?
Hmm.
Like make the pass to the guy. But you got to play with the system. If you see Chelsea, most of the score when they score is through the wing for some odd reason. Like it
Yeah.
will be like a winger, like Pulisic would score, Mason Mount would score. It's really a Kai will get a header, but it's really never like a target man in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
Hmm.
I never thought it would work if you're not gonna change for the guy. Like
Yeah.
98 and you don't change. Like, why are you buying him for?
I know. I agree with you. What were you gonna say, Ty Rips?
I was gonna say, well, you like how you brought up Martinez. Like a lot of Lukaku's goals, I feel like it really went under the radar. How many were literal tap-ins off of Martinez, like breakaways, and he like uh slotted across for Lukaku or sweated it across to him, or even just like deflections off of his goal shots. Like I feel like it's not
Yeah.
stat padding, but like I feel like it was very
The thing
under the
is, yeah,
radar.
the thing is, Martinez, he's not even a burner either. Like I saw when Inter played against Liverpool, like he didn't have pace, but the way they worked in tandem was really good.
His
And
technicality is really good.
yeah, and also going back to what Mackenzie was saying, I I saw the same thing. I saw Lukaku kind of get the center back on his shoulder a little bit and kind of direct, hey, I'm running off here, put the pass here, and they would just hold the pass or look him off. And I don't know if it's they didn't want to risk losing the ball or you know build up play require them to hold it or go wide. It was just really odd, and I think no one adjusted to each other. Lukaku obviously tried to continue playing the way he likes to receive the ball, like through certain channels, but the team themselves didn't look to be like, okay, everything's going through you. I never saw. I can't remember a game, and hit me up in the comments, viewers. But I never saw a game where the team themselves said, "We're feeding you everything." Like it doesn't matter. We're making sure that we're going to force feed you at least 10 quality touches. I never, I never saw that throughout the matches watching Chelsea. Um, Speaking of Lukaku going back to Inter, Ty Ribs, Pogba back to Juventus. What
I
would you say? How was for you? How was Pogba's return to Man U for you?
I mean, I was rooting for him to do well. Like, I never had any issues with him. I loved him as a player. Like, I definitely think he got a lot of unnecessary hate from some of the pundits, and like, I feel like he always did do well. He did have his off days, but like for the most part, I feel like he played great on Sundays, but like other days he was just kind of invisible. But like also he did have a couple injury stints, but at the end of the day, like his output just wasn't there. Like I saw clips of the doc. I don't know if you want to talk about it, but the
Yeah.
documentary,
Hmm.
like there was that clip. As soon as it came out, we all saw that we offered him 300,000 a week. For the
Yeah.
context, De Bruyne is making like 375, and
Yeah.
he said it was a. It's he and to quote, he said we offered him nothing, and that we would offer him more eventually.
Yeah, you have to see the entire doc, which I encourage all Manchester United fans to watch. And if you're just fans of football, because again, it's kind of like the all or nothings, right? Like it's good to kind of see the behind the scenes. But I think in particular, Pogba's just pointing out if you're already giving me this, right? If you're already giving me this and you want me to stay, you have to give me more.
Which
And
I we don't, which he didn't deserve to be honest. Like if he
yeah, so
wants Kevin De Bruyne money, he needs to put up Kevin De Bruyne numbers. which he was nowhere near close to.
Makes complete sense. But now, whether it's the management or whatever, but if you're saying, "Hey, we want to keep you, we want you to stay," you can't on one breath say, "We want you to stay," and then not try to improve the contract to keep them. But I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're
Like
saying.
at the end of the day, Pogba's the perfect example of how bad Man U is at business.
Mm,
It really is. Like I feel like we're gonna learn the same lesson over and over and over again. Like we let young talents leave for free. They become phenoms. Want to buy them back, do nothing with them, and then they leave for free again. I feel like we're gonna learn the same lesson with NL Gomes soon.
well, if the same thing's going to happen, it's not going to be a learned lesson, unfortunately.
Well,
But
yeah, exactly. Like
I hear
it's
what
just
you're saying.
it's we generate no money from sales, and
Mm,
we haven't. That's the only thing that I don't expect Man U to spend like 400 mil this summer. Like I think reasonably they could spend like maybe 200 to 250 like after like revenue and stuff, but people are like, "Oh, man, you should be spending 300 or 400." Like I know reasonably with financial fair play, like that's not in the cards. We generate no money from player sales, and we generate no money from winning. So, but again, that has nothing to do with how much the Glazers put in. Like we've all seen, like they're pinching pennies on 5 million for De Jong. Like, just get it done and walk it off. Like that's the end of the day. Like get it done,
yeah,
and
I hear what you're saying with that one. I think so. Again, hopefully the next time we do talk, everyone's got would have had a chance to see the doc because I think it would be a great conversation. And then yeah, the way the transfer window's kind of going right now, Manchester United looks to be taking their time. They seem to be penny pinching to a certain degree. But maybe that's not a negative thing because in the past you guys would just throw out the cash and um, and not really look at the fine print in terms of how you were spending your dough on these players. So maybe it's a good thing. Um, I think it's so interesting with this upcoming season and clubs wanting to get stronger. But we look at Chelsea, $98 million man go out the door in Lukaku. I believe, or maybe 97. I think Pogba was
Hmm.
98 or
yeah,
97.
Pogba was 98, I believe.
Yeah, and so he's leaving Manchester United out the door. Um, and now, when we think of the importance of wanting to win the EPL, wanting to be a strong club to challenge in Champions League, we also have to now look at Chelsea getting weaker. We looked at Chelsea getting weaker, United getting weaker from big names. Now Liverpool and Mane leaving. Mackenzie, where were you when you saw that he had officially left Liverpool and was a Bayern Munich player? Where were you?
Oh man, I was at work, but just the Champions League final, he kind of gave us that warning that hey, I have to take a decision. And that's exactly what Ronaldo said.
Oh, as soon as
When
he
the
said that the day of the Champions League final or the day before, I'm like, oh, he's
yeah
100% out. I don't know why you don't make that type of statement before a huge game if you're staying.
yeah exactly exactly my point exactly. So I already knew it was bad news from there. But honestly, I would prefer Salah to leave over Mane. That's just me. But then
Wow.
I think you're right. I 100% think you're right.
why you say wow?
No, I say wow because I think many fans think opposite to that. I think many fans are
No,
actually
I
okay
think
for Mane to go.
honestly, I think Mane is the better. It's hard to explain a solid
I don't think it
footballer.
has to do with who's better. I think that Mane has been a much more loyal servant to the club than Salah.
Yes,
But guys,
but
hold on. If Mane has been the the better warrior for Liverpool, he wasn't paid like it.
that's true. That's a problem, by the
So
way.
that yeah, and again, I think versatility wise, I'm giving it to Mane over Salah. But in terms of a relentless kind of like a Woody Woodpecker, just constantly bothering you. Salah's that player that from the first minute to the last minute, he is always constantly driving towards that box. He's going to look to beat you with speed, close contact, and just put shots on net. I think I think that's why I think his productivity is why the club themselves prioritized Salah early in the season because we heard all about the contract talks and what he wanted, what the club was willing to pay, but you didn't hear much about Mane. So I hear what you're saying. I agree. The player that I feared when it was game time against Liverpool was Mane. And most recently, that FA Cup, this freaking guy didn't even really have to look on net to put the ball on net and score. Drove me crazy. So Mane was the more fearful player in my eyes as well. But him leaving, I think, is because of how he's been paid at that club for the years. I think how he's been. Um, he hasn't been the prioritized player. And also, I get you correct me if I'm wrong. You're the Liverpool fan, but I felt like Liverpool and its online presence, its social media, I don't think that they gave him the proper congratulations backing when he became the African king um, with winning AFCON and having his team qualify for the World Cup. I felt like I felt like they kind of kept things a little like nice and discreet and golf claps because Salah obviously was his teammate that wasn't able to win AFCON and his team didn't qualify for the World Cup. Am I crazy?
I just honestly, I just think Mane is better than Salah, man. And I think Salah is very selfish, and I don't like that. Like, I just like Salah is like a tough one to describe because like he scores a lot of goals,
Hmm.
but at the same time he misses a lot of goals. Like, it's weird, man. Like, it's weird. But like I said, out because obviously you get a better return on Salah than Mane because I'm pretty sure Salah would go for like 80, 100. So that's why I would
Yeah,
have sold Salah over and keeping Mane. But it is what it is. He's probably
yeah,
gonna leave for free next year, so who knows?
yeah. You know what? That's actually a very good point.
I
I
kind of
think
question the fact why Liverpool, when they noticed Salah was being difficult about his contract, they didn't immediately focus on Mane's contract.
because okay, and that's a great point, and it's going to allow me to segue into the next our actually our last topic, but I think it's because of all of the clubs, American owners, FSG, Liverpool, they are they are the analytics Moneyball club. I think I think they've looked at okay, player age, they've looked at input, output, and I think even with the fact that Salah's contract wasn't quite moving, they already knew they weren't going to extend Mane. I think they already knew that. I think they were already in. We've got Klopp for another 4 years. We're gonna do our phase two, our new Mane, Diaz, our new Firmino, Nunez, and the remaining piece will be Salah until we find who's next. And if that means Salah remains on this 1 year contract, goes on a free next year, that they do that. I think they're in their phase two, and because they do Moneyball, and I talked about this on my previous show. Please tune in to Vader Games TV. Why always me? Try to do an episode a week, but I think Liverpool, FSG, and the way they are bean counters in terms of profits and margins, I think they're okay to not spend to challenge every year. I think they found the balance to spend and unfortunately have a few ups and downs, influx and success and challenge and come close type seasons because financially they found the balance. That's kind of like how I see it from the outside. Yo, Halo, bang out. Big up my city brothers. Yo, respect for tuning in. Appreciate it. It's a late night show. I got a panel show with Mackenzie, hardcore Liverpool fan, Ty Ribs, United fan, and we're just talking about the transfer window at this point. Keeping it light, we're in the last topic right now, which is with regards to Liverpool and the Klopp Phase 2 era. But that's kind of how I see it. I think they're actually okay with not spending to compete every season, but to spend and let's have our cycles of success. I don't know, Mackenzie. Like if you
Yeah,
think
but
that's go ahead.
yeah, but I mean, you don't. I guess, man. Hey, look at City. Like City, like it's trying to sell Jesus and Sterling for like what 40, 45, 50. That's like 100 right there. Like Liverpool has no one in the club that we can sell for that price other than Salah. You feel me? Like that's
Yeah,
an
but
issue.
I hear that. I hear that, but the reason why I think it's and I'm not saying this to beef. I'm not saying this as a negative criticism. I'm kind of saying this as an observation where we know we watch sports, we watch NFL, NBA. We've seen how sometimes we know the clubs aren't going to win like they're not drafting or they're not acquiring players or they're not making moves in the free agency that shows us that they're trying to win the chip. You know what I mean? And I
I
think
hear you.
yeah.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. But at the same time, you lost the Premier League by a point.
Hmm.
You feel me?
Yeah.
And you lost the fight. You just lost in the Champions League final. So it's not like your team is not you. It's not like Newcastle getting top four. You feel me? And then it's like okay, now let's try to play. Like you're
Hmm.
right there. The only reason why you're not able to compete with City to that level is because like you don't want to spend the money. And the
Yeah.
thing about City, City has a bunch of players that they can offload even though yes they have money in the back pockets where they can I'll spend 100 million there, right? But at the same time the squad is loaded with players. You can get 40, 50, 60 if you want to. Like you can sell a Bernardo Silva to Barca for like 50 million, no problem. Like
Well,
who in Liverpool you can sell for 50 million other than Salah?
you
Like
know
no,
what? Yeah.
any
I,
I mean unless Kanate and Van Dijk and that stuff, but you're not gonna sell none of those guys. You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
Like everybody's like 20 mil, like top 15. We're selling Mina for like 15, 17. Like it's because we
No,
don't spend.
I hear that. I hear that loud and clear. And I actually I want to revisit this in a little more depth next time around because I really want to do my homework on this. But I agree with you. I think the fact that Liverpool were so close, it didn't require a lot to kind of get over the hump. And that's why I wanted to start this show talking with you and Ty Ribs with asking, what did you guys think of the way the season ended, where you would want to improve position wise? And what you pointed out wasn't huge changes, right? It was like, let's just get a few additions. And realistically, you could probably do that if you went and got a player for 40, 50 mil, right? Maybe even like 60 mil, depending on the profile of the player, because you've already shown that you can go out and get talent. The fact that you got the player from Fulham and you got Nunes, right? So I totally agree with you. I think on the next time we talk, the next panel show, it would be to it would be to kind of dissect and look to see whether the clubs are making moves to continue to challenge. And obviously, we know that they have the financial means to continue to challenge, but it's to try and understand why are they not? Like, what could be the reason for them not doing it? Because I do find it interesting. So, well, let me go to this one comment real quick before I hit you up, Ty Ribs.
Mhm.
Edison goes, the way they handle the system is amazing. Sorry, I got clarify that for me, Edison. I think the point before that. Oh, my bad, my bad. The point before that, and I missed that comment. He goes, "Man City has the greatest scouting team ever." You know, in all fairness, Manchester City did look. It looked around its competitors. It looked around who was doing things well, and from what I understand, they looked at the United and they looked at the Chelsea model with regards to scouting and I believe the academy, because they wanted to get to the point where you didn't always have to go out and seek talent, but you could grow talent at home. And what's, I think, from a business standpoint, the fact that they're able to grow talent at home and now send them out, not only on loans, but send them out with some permanent sales, is allowing the club to also invest in bigger name or more established players. So it's a pretty cool system when you really look at it. And yes, I agree with what Mackenzie said earlier. Manchester City obviously have the bank to be able to go out and get whoever. But when you really look at how they're spending, it's not crazy spends on some of these players, and the fact that they're selling players as well, they're making it work from a business standpoint. Ty Ribs, last point
Mhm.
before we kind of shut down the show. And I know the transfer window is different for you right now, but is it is it a I want to see United acquire players to just purely improve on the sixth finish of last season and show me that show me that you can steal wins or earn wins from some of the top six clubs? Is that kind of like your expectation, or do you have something different for United?
Honestly, I'm like 1 week away from hoping Man U doesn't sign anyone.
Oh, you got to explain that. Why?
Because if we go with the window without signing a single player, I feel like that will be the final straw where everyone will unanimously have to just be full on the Glazers out. Because I feel like that happening would just like there's no explanation for that. Like I hope the De Jong transfer falls apart. I hope we get frozen out by Ajax about trying to buy any of their players, and I hope any of our other targets get poached. Like it's that simple. Like you probably saw the leaked interview with one of our uh, office guys at the bar.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of stuff came into light during that. One of which was that he actually said that the protest against the Glazers, not like the match day ones, but like actually the protest to sponsorships is actually what really hurt like their pockets. So like that alone is definitely going to motivate a lot of people. And then he definitely brought some other stuff into light, like how Ed Woodward like kind of went behind the manager's backs that time to go get deals done, even players that didn't want to get signed because, again, they needed jersey sales, they want shirt sales, and like they weren't sure if they, and that way they have a legitimate excuse to why they couldn't buy players that managers want.
Mhm.
So a lot of stuff came in light during that, and I just feel like that ultimately nothing's going to change in the club as long as the Glazers are there. Like I really don't see anything changing. Like it's either us or them at this point. Like so, I'm at the point where you know what? How bad it's gonna have to get worse before it gets better. So, might as well make it as bad as possible.
I mean, I hear that level of frustration, um, to want to get them out, but what has what has me worried for you in that kind of you having that perspective is, would they actually go? Eh, You know what I mean? Because what it looks like right now, because we just saw Chelsea, like Chelsea's owner is an American owner, right? Todd
Now, yeah,
Bowley. They now have an American owner, so I think there's a lot of I think there's a lot of American billionaires that are looking at football and are coming over. I don't know if you necessarily get better owners.
you get
You know,
better owners, 100%. You 100. There's no way because again, Man U's the only club in the Prem that pays out dividends.
But I think it's because they're so large of a club, and they're a private.
No,
No, I mean they're a
what? How
public.
large of a club has $500 million in debt? How many clubs in the Prem? They took out a loan of $100 million and set it out of the club's name to buy the club. There
Yeah, but
are there are laws and restrictions now that are in place because of how badly the Glazers screwed Man U. Like
yeah.
it's you can't get any worse, honestly. Like, and I think that if we do end up finding new owners, I feel like no matter who it is, it can't be worse. But even if they know, they now know if they are worse, they're gonna get kicked out.
Yeah.
Like they eventually are gonna learn the lesson that they're not bigger than the club, and that's the lesson that the Glazers need to learn. Like they're not bigger than the club. Eventually, they will get forced out, and I just think that how wishy washy some Man U fans are, they need an extreme case to be like full on Glazers out. I have never changed my opinion. Like I said, when they make those big sexy signings, that's when I see the Glazer out stuff suddenly disappear, and I'm not here for it.
Yeah.
Like I guarantee you that we probably will go sign Neymar in a couple weeks.
I
We
mean, those
might
ru-
go.
those
We might
yeah,
go
those
sign him
rumors
because
are crazy in itself, and I think when we, where if that ever happens. So right now, there's Lewandowski that's up in the air. There's Neymar that's up in the air. There's
And Delit just put in his transfer request as well.
who'd you say, Delit?
Yeah.
Yep. So that's up in the air. There's a lot that's happening, and I think when those players all land, we are going to have to reunite and have the conversation again. I I think that the United situation is rough. I'd be lying to you if I said that um, I'm hurting. Like United has been so damaging to me as a fan over the years. So I'm okay with their recent struggles, but
I mean, I'm okay with the club struggling, but like the shit that's going on with Man U, like I feel like obviously it's completely different what happened with Chelsea
yeah.
and Abramovich, but like I was still rooting for Chelsea to sell, like for them to find new owners, like
Mhm.
because obviously that shit was messed up, and like obviously like the Glazers aren't guilty of like war crimes and stuff, but like they have like done some pretty shady stuff
Yeah,
to the
yeah,
club.
yeah. No, don't get me wrong. I'm happy with the club failing, but I don't like the club being in such disarray because of the owners. Like they don't quite go hand in hand. I do want to also say this, and please take the time, viewers, if you're new to the channel, hit that follow button, subscribe. Don't miss out on the next show. If it happens to be a panel show, I'll make sure that's described in the title. But I obviously have the Why Always Me, where I'm talking to my fans. I'm talking to the viewers. I'm talking to those that love football, whether it's Manchester City or rival. Doesn't matter. We talk football. Um, I think that I definitely want to connect with you guys again after you've had a chance to see the documentary. It's not long. I believe it's only 4 episodes, and they're like 40 minutes long. It's not nothing crazy. And I definitely want to connect with you guys again with regards to the transfer window when it closes. In all fairness, because of time, I'm not going to go into depth with regards to Manchester City. I'd be lying to you if I didn't tell you that I'm smiling. I'm happy with what's happened in the transfer window so far. Um, I'm hearing that Leeds and Phillips is done, but I'm gonna wait until he's holding up the jersey. And Cucurella left back looks to be a strong possibility. So again, when that happens, I'm gonna be ecstatic. Jesus, unfortunately, leaving out the door. There's rumors of Sterling. There's rumors of Ivan Zinchenko. There's rumors of Bernardo Silva. I'm hoping that that's all that they are, that they're rumors. With regards to the young players that are coming through the EDS, there's been a few signings there. We'll talk about that at another time. But it is a great window so far. I want to thank you all. Mackenzie, Liverpool fan, hardcore. We've battled IEGA style. Check out the IEGA on Instagram. You'll see some of the funniest trash talking moments and some gameplay highlights, and it'll bring back some amazing memories hearing
Yeah.
those voices. And definitely check out Mackenzie. Is there anything you want to link the people to, Mackenzie?
Not really. I'm not really playing, doing anything serious right now. Being the family man, you know how it goes.
All right, family man, amazing, amazing boy who's probably getting so big right now. I'm sure he's kicking the soccer ball, kicking the
Of
football
course,
around.
Liverpool man. We're waiting for Liverpool to come back.
Oh man, he's making him a Liverpool fan. I can't be mad at him. I do the same thing with mine. They're definitely City fans. And then we got Ty Ribs, another fantastic guy, United fan. He bleeds red. We linked up through the IEGA as well. And anything you want to link the people to, my guy?
Nah, I got nothing.
All right, two humble, modest guys, nothing to promote. They're here for the great football talk conversation. So I'm very thankful for that. Everyone, again, first things first, my people come first. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for supporting the channel. Hope you enjoy the conversation. We're going to be doing this again. The transfer window just started, and the transfer window is going all the way until September 1st. There's going to be a lot to talk about, and the more we learn about this whole World Cup and where it fits within the fixture schedule and things of that nature, we're going to get into that conversation. A lot's changing in the EPL. 5 subs, World Cup in the middle of it. Just the schedule of matches, I believe, as it stands right now, when the season kicks off, it might be a game every 3 days, every 3 or 4 days. It's going to be crazy. But as fans, we love it that way. We love when the games are that frequent. So everyone, thanks for tuning in. Much love. I'm Vader Games. You got a chance to hear from Ty Ribs and Mackenzie. Thank you for the love. I'm out.